Hey everybody, and welcome back to Investment Honey, where we talk about various crypto projects. Before we begin, as always, just want to let you know that I am not your financial advisor and we never provide any investment advice on this channel ever. So just with that being said, if you're new to the channel, if you're new to the series, welcome. Thank you for being here. So I would always encourage anybody that's new to go back to the first video that we did in the series. I do have a playlist, and you can always just go to the videos and go back to day one. All right, just to kind of see, what we're talking about, why we're doing it, what the flow of it's going to be, and so forth. If you're returning, thank you so much, for continuing to keep up, with the series. So just to go ahead and let you guys know, as always, we're just going to go ahead and go through, some of the alerts that we've talked about. You can see a number of the different tabs that are open. Once we do that, we won't make, that a huge portion of the video, but again, it's just kind of the review that we do just to kind of keep you connected to stuff that we've talked about in the past, as we continue day by day in this series. We'll go through that, and then we'll take a look at some of the filters. We'll see what we're going to put in there as far as that's concerned, because every day is a new adventure, since I don't really go into it knowing what I'm going to put in there. I do it live, with you on, as I'm filming. And then we'll see what tokens we find. And then we'll go through, looking at some charts. We'll look at, the communities. We may set some alerts, and then we'll go and we'll close out the video at the end. So with that being said, let's take a look. Now, yesterday, I said, I think towards the end of the video, that there was one that I wanted to go ahead and show you, but I said that the video is getting a little long and that I would essentially just go ahead and do it on the next video. So Eve is one that we looked at some days ago. And, with that being said, I took a screenshot because I wanted to at least let you guys, see that it was making some movement. You can see a market cap here at 440K. So this one did make some moves. All right, so here is Eve right now. It did, retrace, but it looks like it's climbing back up, so as I was getting ready to record, I could see some buys coming in. So if we take a look, let's go back. Actually, we don't have to go there. We can just go here to our alerts. Okay, we can see that we originally looked at this one at 151K. Now, if you're new, one of the things that you can do when you're setting these alerts, and we'll talk about the alerts, is you can edit it. You can add notes. There's the notes section. You can see it's optional. And what we decided to do, at some point during the series was start making the note of the posted market cap, when we find the token or when we found it. So here we found this one at 151K. I don't know what the all-time was. For this one, it could have been, obviously it was over 440K, but I don't know specifically what it was, but either way, obviously it's made some moves. Now, part of what we do in this series, we want to go ahead and try to find tokens early, right? Now, that doesn't mean that we're going to find, the next chill guy or the next peanut, but the whole idea here is you don't necessarily need to wait until, some influencer is showing it to you, because at that point they've probably already gone ahead and bought in, or they, whoever knows, how many other people have shilled it to their community, and you're buying more than likely, at a higher entry point. So here, I'm, going through this series trying to help you guys figure out, how do we spot this stuff early, so that you don't have to wait for somebody else to tell you about it. Okay. So again, 151, obviously, over 440K. So there are some gains there, which is good to see, right? Okay. So moving forward, so that's that. And let's see here, going back to the alert. This was triggered, 2 days ago. We created it 4 days ago. It's over 210. For this one, I guess the only thing I'd be concerned about, at this point would be retracement. So I can go in, I can edit this one. Okay, so we can say we'll set an under, and we're also going to set a new market cap. So we're going to set it at 341K. And again, if I'm talking too fast, guys, sometimes I go ahead and I get off on a tangent and start moving more quickly in terms of what I'm communicating. The whole purpose of the video is so that you can go back. The nice thing about the video is that you can go back and listen to it, as much as you need to, just to kind of wrap your head around whatever I'm saying. So the under here, let's set it at, I don't know. If it retraces, and we're going to set this as a larger deviation, if it goes under 250,000, that's definitely going to require some reevaluation on this one. So, all right, so we're going to save that. Okay, so there we go. And we can see that now the alert is active. When it's been triggered, this obviously goes to, disabled. So, all right, so we're closing it out. We're going to close out the screenshot. We're going to close this one out. Claude 2, obviously we've been looking at this one, for a couple of days, so obviously it had a pretty good run up to almost 800K. here, and then it's just been doing a lot of retracement. You know, we see some buy pressure return, but then it's just, you know, lower lows, you know, since then. So let's see what our alerts look like. All right, so this one's disabled. So this one triggered, you know, when it went over 285, and that was created 2 days ago. So obviously I haven't touched, you know, this alert, you know, in a while. I think I'm going to set this for 100K. If it goes under 100K, I think this one is toast. So that's just my own personal opinion. We're also going to edit this, setting this at 224K, since that's the market cap we're currently at right now. All right, so there we go. And I'm also going to go ahead and edit this one. I don't need to wait until it goes over 350 as far as an indicator. I'm actually going to see if it goes over, let's say 280. And remember, this part is fluid, you know, so it's just whatever you think. Okay, for me, sometimes I go smaller deviations, you know, from the posted market cap, you know, at the time of when I'm setting the alert. Sometimes I go larger, you know, so obviously in this case, I'm looking at larger just because, again, the alerts are indicators. So I want to see indication of movement, you know, that helps me to maybe go back and make a reevaluation, you know, in terms of, you know, how I'd like to proceed here. So what I'm doing is I'm editing the notes to adjust the current market cap. All right, so with these alerts, you know, as they trigger, you got to go back in and you got to be diligent about making adjustments, you know, because obviously at the time that you set the first alert, it's going to change later on, which means you have to make the edits along the way. All right, so let's close this one out with quad 2. Here we are looking at, no, we're looking at pair. Okay, remember, so this was one that I went ahead and set that you guys saw in my alerts yesterday that we hadn't discovered, you know, through the alerts, you know, but it was one that I posted to the main channel. And if you're new here, you don't know about the Telegram channel, it's Crimson's Calls. Just go to the link in the description. Got a couple of links there, you know, for MaestroBot and for the Telegram channel. You know, so I do make calls there beyond, you know, whatever you may see in terms of video content. So this one, it did, you know, move up, you know, since my initial call, and then it's, you know, done some retracement. It's still holding, you know, over that 3 million market cap floor, you know, that I called it at on the channel. You know, but we've got a couple alerts here. This one's disabled because it went over 3 million, and I was trying to keep this alert alive because it's been fluctuating between really like 2.5 million to over 3 million. So every time it crosses it and disables this, I'm going back in and I'm resetting it because I want to stay connected to what's going on with this particular chart. So in this one, since it's over 3.2, I'm going to leave this one disabled because now I'm concerned about the under. Okay, so if it goes under, and I think I'm going to, so this one, okay, so I put it at 2.5 when I saw this alert, and I'm saying goes under 2 million. I'm actually going to adjust this to say, I want to know if it goes under 2 million, and here I'm going to adjust this to say 3.2. Okay, so there we go. So we're going to leave that alone. And like I said, I'm leaving the over one, you know, I'm leaving that one alone. I'm leaving that disabled, but I'm still going to leave it in the alert section. All right, so FUSC, this is one that's really interesting, right? Because at the time that we saw this initially, days ago, I think I called this at like, I don't know, 109, 118. And we can't see that here, but it's in one of the prior videos. But it was, I think it was 118. It was definitely under 150, so we call that. And yesterday, when we went over, you know, when I showed you, when I filmed the video, I showed you that it had already made some moves. And I think it was still sitting under 450,000. Okay. So even at the time of the upload yesterday, and that's the other thing that's kind of nice about this series is that if we're talking about a token and you can see that it's starting to make some move, you can also go in, you know, to check that token out and see if it's something you want to jump into, especially if you didn't set the alert at the time that I set it. Now, some of you guys following along, I mean, you're setting the same alerts at the time that I'm setting the alerts, so you're able to go ahead and, you know, track and keep up with what's going on with the tokens that we're talking about, you know, in the video, which that's one way to go ahead and do this, you know, if you want to do that. Or, like I said before, you can, not in this video, but in another video, the whole idea here is, you know, we set some filters, you know, I'm showing you, I'm modeling for you how to go ahead and do it. And then you can go in, you know, after you watch the video and you can set your own, you know. So, but with this one, if let's take the scenario that you decided to set the same alert at this point, you're closing in on a 10x, if you decided to jump in at the same time that I set the alert at 118, which at 118, really wasn't sure what was going on with this, but again, if you're using a bot, and that's the reason why I tell you guys and remind you, that I have that Maestro bot link in the description. Utilize the bot if you're going to, participate. Now, obviously, I'm not encouraging anybody to do that. That's always been one of the things we've reiterated, on the channel since I started, this YouTube channel, that we never encourage you to invest, but I also understand a lot of people engaging with this content, looking to possibly, participate, in trading activities. So let's take the scenario that you decided to participate. That bot link, the Maestro bot link, is there because, getting in and out of trades, obviously, fast is something that you can't do manually trading, through Radium, or, if you're on Solana, or through Uniswap if you're on Ethereum. So that's the reason why I encourage the use of bots. All right. So with that being said, this one has clearly been, a good token to watch. We've got a good healthy chart in terms of, what's going on here. And we're on the 1 hour, and on the 4 hour, you can see that I've told you guys this before. When you're looking at a big buy candle, nobody allows this candle to go ahead and stay like this. So anytime you see something like this, if you're one of those people wondering, like, when do I sell? Anytime you see a candle like this, you can't, operate, and you shouldn't operate, from the mindset that, maybe it'll go even further. Look, yeah, it may go further, but the likelihood of there being retracement, because there may be somebody that got in down here, and they're also, the first person who sells obviously is going to decrease anybody else's value of their bags after that first sell, right? So I'm not saying, be yeedy on a chart, but I am saying that you have to, be sensible here. If you've already gone ahead and you made some money, and you see a candle like this, it's a guarantee. It's an absolute certainty that there's going to be retracement. In this case, yes. So anybody that got in at these lower levels, they're taking profit, which leads to that sell candle. And then the question is, will it recover after that? Okay, so in this case, for this token, do I think that this token probably still has some legs to run? Absolutely. I mean, that's just going to, and I'm not saying that with a guarantee, guys. Please don't think that. But I'm just looking at the chart, and I'm looking at the fact that, after this big sell candle, this didn't keep going down. There was more buy pressure that return to the chart. So again, do I think there's going to be, some highs and lows in this one? Yes. But do I think it's going to go ahead and drop like a stone? I don't think that. Not yet. I don't think this token is done yet. So that's just my own personal opinion. So I understand that. Take it with a grain of salt. However you want to look at that. You can even look at the information here. You got, nothing going in the last, the 5 minute, but you still have, some buy pressure, some greens, here on the 1 hour, the 6 hour, and the 24 hour. Okay, so like I said, want to highlight, Fusk, because as far as this token is concerned, this is one, where we found it early, and obviously, that's why this Dexscreener series is taking place, so that you are not having to rely on somebody else to go ahead and find this stuff for you, right? So to develop the skill set to be able to, know what do I need to look for, what do I need to do to give me a better chance at being able to try to find stuff early for potential gains. So, and this is a clear example of that. All right, so we're going to get out of this one, and let me see here as far as the alerts are concerned before we leave it. So right now we can go ahead and we can edit this because we're setting at 1 million. Okay, so we're going to edit the note, and let's see here. We got an under here, so I'm going to say maybe I might get concerned, if it drops, and this is going to be a large deviation because we're sitting at 1 million. So 700 might be a little bit unrealistic. Again, we're looking for an indicator. So let's go 800,000 on that. Okay, so that's the under. And I'm not really interested in setting an over because of where the market cap is right now, because I still think this likely has potential to continue to move forward. But that's just my own personal assessment, on that. All right, so we're moving away from this one. And then we looked at Katsu yesterday, at least I think we did. So, and I believe we set some alerts, so yeah. So here we are, and I don't remember if this was, I think it's one that I saw that we did on the video yesterday. I believe it is, okay. So at this one, the note here is saying that it was found at, 53K. So 2 alerts were set, one if it goes over 100K, and then one if it goes under 40K. Now, it did see some retracement yesterday. but again, nothing that went ahead and triggered the alerts. So I'm just keeping you up to date on that one, because like I said yesterday, it isn't about, when we set these alerts to just simply look at the ones that take off or the ones that do well. We also want to keep an eye on the ones that aren't doing well, the ones that go down, the ones that, are still not triggering, but we want to take a look, at, reviewing our progress in terms of the alerts that we're setting. All right, so moving forward, this one was Frosky. This one we did talk about this, because I remember looking at the banner and thinking the banner was nice. This one has been kind of interesting because it's to me, it's a token where it's like the holders really don't know what they want to do. It's going down, it's going up, so, and I still consider this to be kind of one of those, risky kind of charts, because, this could 50-50, this could go down, it could go up. You just don't know, okay? But I think if they can hold the line of support around this area, eventually it'll probably break out if they can hold the line. I think if the community stays active, and it's not just, holding the line, but there are other things, conditions that need to be met, right? I mean, the community still has to participate. The team still has to show up, in terms of, communicating what they're trying to go ahead and do to move the token. I mean, you still have to give people an indicator that, hey, this has a future. All right. So with that being said, if we look at the alerts here, this one was disabled because it did trigger the under, which it went under 275, and we saw this one yesterday at 300. Now it's still in that neighborhood of 300K, so again, I'm curious about taking a reevaluation of this one if it can touch over 340. Okay, so if it can get over 340, that might be an indicator, maybe, that it's starting to move out of this zone that it's just kind of seems like it's kind of stuck in. Now, keep in mind, when we looked at Finger Elon Musk, the Fusk token that we just looked at, that one sat basically kind of idle for 2 days, and then it started to move. So, but again, you've got a lot of name recognition, there, because Elon's in the name of that token, right? So I think there were people that were essentially, hoping that, essentially this might actually break out at some point. You don't necessarily have that here. I mean, you got the winter theme here. It's it's a fun little drawing and artwork, here, but it really is going to be, it's one where I think if you're setting the same alert, you're better off watching it if you do decide to jump in. For me personally, let's say if it's me jumping in, my stop loss would be pretty tight, on this one. I don't think I'd be willing to lose more than 5 or 10%, on this. And if it triggered the stop loss, then maybe I'd wait, continue to watch, and then, reevaluate from there. That's just, if I were going to operate, in terms of this one. But this is one that we're going to continue to watch, so I want to make sure this one, since this one was the under, I'm going to reactivate this one. I don't need to edit it. I think 275 is still good for this one as far as the trigger. So we're going to leave that one. Looking at paper, this one was one that when we looked at it initially, it was sitting at higher levels. Okay, and it was just kind of staying there. And what have I said before in a lot of these charts? People don't like to see stagnant charts. They want to see movement. So if you're not really getting a whole lot of buy activity, if you're not getting consistent buy activity, what happens? People eventually just decide, all right, I'm done with this one. And that's kind of what's happened here. Nothing but continued retracement, large retracement here. And it's just, so at this point for this one, and we can take a look at the alerts. I'm going to say that I'm done watching this one because I don't think that this one's got a hope I don't think this one's got a chance in the world of coming back. So, I mean, there might be something going on in the Telegram that might, communicate a different, outcome or potential outcome, but I don't think that I'm seeing anything going on since we've watched this. It's one thing if you see a chart that's just kind of sitting idle and, maybe kind of trading sideways, that there's still buy pressure there. This one has just, continued sell pressure that has overpowered any kind of buy pressure returning, because we can see right here, there's a little hope, but again, I think maybe people that were just getting impatient, just decided, hey, I'm done with this one. And then that trend continued. Okay. So this one, we're done. We're done with Paperboy. If you want to continue to watch this one, that is totally your choice. Now with Purple Doge, the reason why I brought this one up is because initially, when we looked at this one, this looked like it had some potential, but then, it was just killed. It was just so much retracement. This went down to as low as 20, like it hit, I think 24K was what I saw it at one point. And then they had a little bit of a resurgence, so then it was like, okay, maybe I need to continue to watch this one. So this one, I think now that they've shown that they could get out of these lower levels, I mean, it's one to continue to watch, but I am encouraged by what I'm seeing on the chart. That I like to see charts that fight, where it's not like, oh my gosh, there's so many sells and people just go ahead and dump and quit on the token. So this one, it looks like the community's still in this one. It looks like the team is still in this one. I don't remember if this was a CTO or not. I can't tell you for sure. I'm not looking back at the community, right now during this recording, but either way, I do like the fact that there was resurgence, from the bottom, and that tells me that there's a possibility this could get back to, these levels. We don't know for sure, but we can see that, we still got buys coming in. So yeah, this is one that I'm going to continue to watch. So here we're sitting at, this is saying 95. Remember, there's a delay between what you see over here and what you see in the tab. So this one's sitting at 95. This is 97. Now, a good trick, for you, if you ever just want to see for sure exactly what the market cap is, maybe let's say that this isn't lining up with this, you can always go ahead and close it, and then you can go back into it, and it should automatically, update it. Okay, so 97. Okay, well, I thought sometimes it doesn't, but apparently, while I'm doing this live, it wants to act up. So either way, sometimes you can go ahead and do that. But like I said, I tend to pay attention to the tab just to see, what's going on here, because it doesn't always line up, what we see here. All right, moving forward, let's see, as far as the alerts are concerned, we're sitting at 99. So I need to go ahead and edit these alerts. Okay, so when the market cap goes under, let's edit the note. So the note should say 94. Okay, and I'm going with 94 because this is saying 95 and this is saying 94. All right, but either way, as long as you're in the neighborhood, you should be fine. It's just a note, right? So under, I want to say if this goes under 70K, oops, remember I can't put a K in that section. All right, and then the over, I mean, right now it's already got my attention, but if I were to go ahead and set an over, it wouldn't be, really much further from where it's sitting currently at right now. So 94K, and I'd say, maybe 120. Okay, because 120, you're still, pretty early, on a token, in my opinion, it's in the neighborhood of 100K. Okay, so we've set the alert there. So at this time, that goes over really, the review stuff, that I wanted to cover. Okay, before we get into taking a look, at some tokens. So with that said, let me go ahead and pause this real quick, and then we'll get into the filters. All right, guys. So here's what we're going to do. Because I've gone ahead and reset the screen here, we're going to go ahead and do our customization. So, actually, I guess this is one I already had open. I haven't closed out this particular window since yesterday. All right, so we don't have to do anything here. Okay, so we're going to go into our filters, and let's take a look. We're going to do Solana, and we'll do Ethereum today. So, okay, so we don't have to go ahead and mess around with any dexes once we choose, 2 of the chains. Okay, market cap. We're going to start out with our traditional 50, and remember, guys, you guys can always do something different. I just tend to think that, hey, if it can't make it to 50,000, it's probably not something I'm interested in taking a look at. But, if you guys want to take a look at something, earlier than that, you can start maybe something like 25K. I mean, that's completely up to you. All right. So pair age, let's go on the newer, the newer side of things. I think yesterday we went older. So, we'll do 6 to 12 hours. Let me see here. Remember, the newer the token range in terms of the pair age, you tend to run into more scams. So just be aware of that, guys. Which is a lot of times, when I'm doing this on my own, I'm not necessarily looking for the newest, stuff. I typically will set something out that's been alive for at least a day, to help mitigate, the number of scams that I may run into in terms of my search. So, all right. And then for the 24, we're not looking for volume. We're looking for the change. We want to see tokens that have been able to at least, keep a 10% change, on their pricing, in the life of the token, according to the pair age parameters in the filter that we set. All right, so we're going to click apply, and we're also going to go ahead and take this 24-hour because, like I tell you guys all the time, I'm interested in sorting, by the ones that have been able to show the largest amount of change in their price, over the time frame that I've already gone ahead and set according to the filters. All right, so as always, and remember, we're looking at, we set our filters, to look at both Solana and Ethereum tokens. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and open them up as usual. We'll set up, so we're opening up 8. Okay, and how many did it give us? It gave us 14. All right, so here we go, and we're going to just take a look at some charts, first of all, just to see what's going on there. All right, and we've got it set on the 4-hour. And so here's what we can do, if you don't want to have to adjust, this on the fly each time. You can open up one window, so I'll go ahead and I'll tell you what, I'll close out the rest of these. I'm not even looking at the charts, as I'm closing them out, but either way, we can close out the rest of these. So, and what I'll do is I'll set this on the 5-minute because, or the 1 minute, 1 minute probably makes more sense. And then for each one that I open, it should just open on the 1 minute if I'm correct on this. So let's take a look just to be sure. And it should show us, right up here. Yeah, it should show 1 minute. So yeah, it's showing us 1 minute. So now every other token or window that we open, it will show the 1 minute chart. So that's something I meant to mention the other day and I didn't do it. All right, so again, we're just looking at the charts real quick just to see what's going on here, see if we got any scams, that we just need to close stuff out right away. And I do see a number of them that don't have any socials. So that tells me right away I'm probably not going to be interested. So this one, the pattern of the chart, this stair-step pattern, and it's been alive, for 11 hours. This is not normal, so it's likely a scam. No socials, again, likely a scam. So, because who's going to go ahead and put their Dexscreener information out there and not add socials, right? So, all right, this one, no socials, and it also looks like it's in retracement, plus it's been alive for 9 hours, and this isn't dead yet, based on what's going on in the chart, and you don't have any socials, so that to me tells me that's one we're not going to look at either. This one, all we have is a Twitter. I want to see more than that, so in this one actually should be, all right, so, and this essentially looks like it's dying anyway, nothing but retracement, so this is not one we want to look at. So also, as I do this very quickly, just helping you guys understand, you don't have to spend a ton of time looking at a chart to figure out, is this one I want to look at? There are just some things you can see right away to go ahead and completely remove that, as a possibility of something that you would be interested in exploring any further. All right, this one, no socials. Again, this pattern on the chart is not a healthy pattern. And you can even tell, even by the buy transactions, nobody's going to go ahead and let this kind of stuff, continue to stand. This has been alive for 11 hours, and we're still sitting up here. So my guess, probably a honeypot, but again, this is likely a scam. This one as well, no socials, been alive for 13 hours, almost 14, and again, this is the same kind of pattern that we've seen in the ones that we have deemed are essentially scams. So that way you can see over time, just like, I do as well, that there are just some chart patterns that you can tell are healthier chart patterns than others. And you can tell right away, whether it's going to be something to pay attention to or something to avoid. All right, this one's dead. Okay, so we're not taking a look at this one either. And remember, when we look at these filters that we set it for 6 to 12 hours. The newer the tokens, you're going to run into more scams. So that's just an inevitable, reality, which is why, like I said before, I tend to look at a set filters that, would tell that, in my experience in terms of, the consistency of me looking at tokens and so forth, what's likely to stay alive or at least not be a scam versus, what I know is likely going to be a scam. So, but like I said, we're looking at 6 to 12 hours. It's not like we're going to run into, every token's going to be a scam, but just like this one, we've got our socials. If we look at the chart here, the chart looks healthy, okay, or like a healthier chart, okay. Doesn't look like this is a scam, but it just simply looks like, hey, they had a run up and huge retracement, by this large sell candle area. Then more retracement, started to go ahead and build up some buy pressure, retracement here. This is likely, likely going on, in terms of the sells here and the sells here. People that, maybe didn't sell, in this area, and now they're just waiting for anybody that's buying in and they're selling. So at this point, for a chart like this, I probably wouldn't be interested, just because more than likely I'd be exit liquidity. My buys would get up by sells, because of people probably already in loss, just looking for somebody to help mitigate the loss through additional buys coming in at these levels. Okay. But either way, we'll still take a look at it since, this is one of the ones that at least, this one doesn't look like a scam. And this one here, you know, again, you can look, some of these buys are just ridiculous, okay? And for such an early token, and this is 14 hours old, you know, but yeah, looking at these buys, this is not normal, okay? So you can tell that by the buy transactions. And this, again, comes as a byproduct of looking at a lot of charts, you know, over an extended duration of time in my, you know, as I've done over the time that I've been in crypto. So this one, no socials as well. We're going to go ahead and get rid of it. All right, so this one we've got here, and like I said, I'm not interested. Based on whatever I see in the Telegram, more than likely I'm not going to set any alerts for this, and then we'll take a look at what else that we got going on, you know, back on this main screen where the other tokens were. So we'll take a look, you know, in Telegram. Let's see what's going on here. All right, so we're going to open it up, and let's see here. So we've got the major, you know, buy bot. I always like to know what's going on in terms of the last buy that came onto the chart. You know, so this one's saying 10:29. We're at 10:34. You know, on my computer clock. You know, so you know, 5 minutes. You know, since the last buy. You know, which is not bad. Okay, so that's still within my 10-minute window. If I'm seeing that, you know, it's been over 10 minutes since the last buy, I am not interested in taking a look, you know, at that token, you know, beyond what I've already seen, you know, in the assessment that I'm making. Looking at the pinned messages, you know, we're looking at trying to get votes, or actually, you know, yeah, votes for the token, you know, to get some trending, you know, from major buy bot or from the major buy community. Let's see here. Okay, so not a lot going on in terms of pinned messages. So that automatically also tells me that, you know what, hey, this is not something I want to look at. Now we can see here Chester scam. So I don't like to see stuff like this, you know, in a Telegram. So that's also something that would lead me to say I'm going to leave this one alone. All right, so we're definitely not touching this one any further. I'm not going to bother with any alerts. We're just going to go back here, and we've already opened up, you know, half of these. Okay, so we're going to open up 9 through 13 and see what we got. I don't know if any of these would have been one that we would have already seen. Okay, and then if we don't see anything here, we're going to go ahead and we're going to go back into the filters and we're going to adjust them and see what else we can produce. All right, so and that's kind of the flow and the process here. Okay, all right, so we're on the 5 minutes. This looks pretty, all right, not bad. And we see we got some socials here, you know, as well. What I'm curious about right here is that we're here at the bottom levels. We get some buy pressure. It doesn't get killed off right away, which is encouraging. And then kind of stays flatline for a minute, and we get some more buy pressure. A little bit of sell here, but where's this going? So is this still heading back up? I don't know. All right, but I also am encouraged here to see on the 1 hour, 27%, 6 hour, 36%, 24 hour, 57%. So we're seeing this continue to go up, which is also, that's encouraging. Doesn't tell us for sure whether this is going to continue to move in that direction, because this could change at any moment, but it is encouraging. All right, we're going to take a look at laser. This one right now, I can tell you right away, it's a scam for sure. So we're going to close this one out. Flocky, no socials. Don't like what I'm seeing in terms of the chart pattern. Even if we go to the 1 minute, still not going to like it. All right, the buys. So like we saw on another one that, you know, we talked about just recently, these buys, this is not normal behavior, you know, in terms of looking at buy transactions on the chart. So this is likely a scam. Okay, so this one, Dinala, you know, huge retracement right here. Looks like there's some buy pressure returning, but I am highly skeptical, you know, on this one. Plus, we don't get any socials here, so this is what I'm going to say no to as well. And here, no socials right away. Just not really seeing anything that would tell me that, you know, I'd be interested in exploring this one further. Okay, so we're going to take a look at this one real quick, and then we're going to go back and we're going to change our filters and we're going to see what else we can get. So we got a portal here, and we're going to click start so we can get our link. All right, so we're going to join and see what's going on. Only 60 members, or just over 60 members, you know, so when was the last buy on this one? So 10:21, that would have been well over 10 minutes, you know, so this one I'm going to go ahead and close out because that's immediately, that tells me it's what I'm not interested in looking at. So this one, so we got nothing here, you know, in terms of what we're looking at according to the filters that we set. So we're going to go 13 hours to 40, or actually we'll just do to 24 since I'm going to be closing the video out here soon. Okay, so what do we got here? So a new set of tokens, and we're going to, okay, so we're already set by the 24 hour. We're going to start at the bottom here, and we're going to go from there. All right, so we're going to open up Sometimes we start at the top, sometimes we start at the bottom. All right. So we open up from 17 to 11. Let's take a look at the charts, see what we got going on. And remember, guys, it's a fluid process. So if we set some filters and we don't get anything, let's set some new filters and see what we get. All right. What did I set on this one? 15? All right. So yeah, so we're going to set the 15. We're just going to go back through and set the 15-minute chart. So I don't have to do this one by one. All right. 15 is good there. 15 is good there. And 15 is good there. All right. Cool. Okay, so looking at the charts right away, this one looks healthier than what we were seeing before. This one, okay, all right. I mean, right now it's in continued retracement, you know, so I don't know. I'm skeptical about that one as to whether any buy pressure will return to this one. This one looks like it's on an uptrend, you know, which I'm encouraged by that. I don't ever understand on these fart tokens, you know, why that happens, but I guess, you know, people are interested in the fart theme. Okay, no judgment. All right, so we got Coke Bear. All right, so here we get a run up, okay, and we got some retracement. Is there a possibility for another run up? I don't know, you know, but right now we see we got some activity on the 5 minutes, some activity on the 1 hour, activity on the 24. I don't like, you know, this sitting at -40 on the 6 hour, you know, so I'm curious to see if there would be buy pressure return to this one. We'll take a look in the channel and see what's going on there. All right, this one we don't get a telegram, so I'm immediately closing out of that one, okay. And here we don't get a telegram, closing out of that one. This one we do. Okay, so we got 4 tokens. We're going to talk about these 4, and then I think we'll shut it down for the day. But you know, with that being said, this one no socials. You know, so I didn't see that the first time around, so we're going to close this one out as well. Okay. So here, this one I said I was skeptical as far as, you know, whether we're going to see any buy pressure return. This is called Token Spy. So we get a portal. Let's go in. Let's see what we got going on. Actually, let's see here. There we are. Okay, over 500 members. Okay, I got to verify. All right, so this is weird, but it should give me another window there. Yep. Sometimes you'll see this as long as it's not asking for a phone number. You know, you should be fine. Huh? I wonder what happened there. Okay, there we go. All right. So it's still restricting me. That's interesting. All right. I mean, it's today, you know, until the next minute. I don't know why it did that, because I did verify. You guys saw that. Either way, this one, the last buy was at 10:33. So basically, if we don't get another buy in 2 minutes, this is likely going to be one that I wouldn't touch. All right, because it's already 10:41 on my clock. So let's see here. What do we got going on in pin messages? They got some. They're saying let's get a raid going, you know, but I don't see anything like a cherry bot. You know, I don't see D-raid. I don't see anything in here to go ahead and actually raid tokens yet. Okay, there's cherry. So, okay, but I don't see a prompt, you know, for the community to go ahead and raid any tweets. Okay, all right. So with that being said, so raiding looks like the only thing they got going on, and that's not even actively taking place right now. So yeah, I don't know that I would really be interested in taking much more of a look at this, you know. So, and their verification is kind of odd, because you guys saw me verify and I still couldn't get into the open chat. So this one, I think I'm going to go ahead and close this one out. This one, obviously, you know, just essentially looking at the chart right away, looked like the most promising, you know, based on what we saw on the chart. We're going to take a look and see what's going on in their Telegram. Okay, this is obviously a CTO. You can see it right away. So we're going to verify, and let's see if this verification goes a bit easier. Okay, yeah, so we can see. All right, so we got some rating going on. Okay, group status is unlocked. Okay, everybody hit the rockets, you know. So this, they encourage people to go ahead and go to their link on Dexscreener. I find it easiest to do it on the phone. You know, you can immediately see the rocket and just go ahead and touch the rocket. That helps in terms of their overall exposure. So we're looking to see if we get anything in terms of, you know, marketing information, what they're going to do to, you know, further expand the footprint of the token, so they can get more, you know, more people in, you know, to participate, you know, in buying into this. So, but I'm not really seeing that so far. But I mean, I like the fact that we do get a number of pin messages, you know, but. Okay, so we get some Dex advertising paid for, so that's helpful. Okay, that's good information to see that. Okay, so I'm going to go back down and see what's going on here. Okay, this is all rating. So we're not seeing, all right, so the last buy was at 1041. Okay, I mean, this is one, I'll tell you what, we'll keep an eye on this one. Okay, so So yeah, and we see some retracement here, which is not unusual. Anytime you get a bit of an uptrend, you're going to see some retracement. The question is, are we going to see this, completely just, die off, or is there going to be buy pressure that's, kind of balanced, with the sells? Now we're currently at 115, so we're going to set the alert. All right, so the over, and we're going to go straight to market cap. All right, so over, we're going to see if this can get to 140. All right, and we're going to create that alert, and then we're going to set the next one for under. All right, we're setting it 115 on as far as our notes concerned, and under, if this is at 115, which I'm actually more interested in the under alert than I am the over alert, just because it's already on a small uptrend. So on the under, I'm going to go ahead and set an indicator, for 95K. Now, for some of you guys, you might be thinking, man, 95 seems like a long way away, from 115, or you might not think that it's a long way away. But either way, 95 tells me that, hey, all right, so we saw a small uptrend, we're seeing some people go ahead and sell. Is this going to recover from there? And that might signal to someone that's interested, in a potential, buying opportunity for an entry. Now, it could continue to retrace from there. If it does, I mean, you could always decide to DCA or whatever, or you could just simply watch, if it does trigger that under, the under alert. Okay. So we've got our alerts set. And like I said, the one thing I love about the alerts is that you don't have to babysit the charts. You can set them and forget them. All right, so for Coke Bear, we can see that we saw this, moving up just a little bit. So we see some buy, a little bit of, some buys coming in. So we are going to go to Telegram, and this, all right. So I'm curious if this is a CTO or not. I'm not seeing that it is a CTO. So, okay, so here we go. We got our link. All right, so we're in here. We got a VC going. The VC is encouraging. I mean, almost 30 people in a VC. And considering, where the chart levels are at, I think that's actually encouraging, for this one. We've got a lot of activity in terms of the raids. That's also encouraging too. So there looks like there is a highly positive sentiment, on this token. So, and then looking at the pin messages, you get a number of pin messages, so this one looks like, it's kind of fun. A lot of activity, so this one to me would definitely get my attention personally. All right. So, okay. And obviously on buys, we just saw some buys come in, so 10:45, so that was a minute ago. So we're going to go back. We're definitely going to go ahead and set some alerts, for this one. Okay, so the alerts here, we're sitting at currently 132, so we're going to make that 132 here on the note. And going over, definitely for this one, I am interested in seeing this, move up, so I'm going to set this at where were we at? Okay, I'm going to set this at, 150 is going to be my indicator. Remember, it's an indicator. We just wanted to see if it's moving in the right direction, right? Or in the direction, of the, where we want to see this continue to build up some buy pressure. So we're creating that alert. And then for the under, we're making our note again at 132. Okay. And for the under, I'd say I'm going to set the under at 100K. All right. So there we go. All right. So that one, we're done here. Okay. And for this one, were there some buys? I don't remember what the actual chart looked like, the first time we saw this, if we saw this or not, but it was probably there because I'm not seeing any really big buys that would have led to that candle. Okay, so for this one, Pengu Zach. All right, so we're going to go to their Telegram and we're going to see what's going on here. All right, so there we go. All right, so we're joining up, and what do we got? A little over 200 members. We've got a raid that was completed in 7 minutes. We're looking at the, actually, I want to see when the last buy took place. That tells me, okay, 47. So we just had a buy come in on this, okay? So looking like they're going to do some, some burns of the supply, and we've got raiding going on. So good activity on the raids, or at least some encouraging activity. The community is participating in the raids. Okay, so a lot of these are just, raid pin messages. So not really seeing anything in terms of, how they're going to get the token more exposure. So that does kind of concern me. I think that even though we had this candle right here, I don't think this is going to continue to go up. I think there's going to be some retracement. That's my initial thoughts just looking at this chart. Okay, so I'm not interested, honestly, in seeing this go up. So I'm setting an alert just for this to go down. So right now we're setting at 136. Okay, 130, or actually the tab up here says 137. So either way, you can go with either one. It doesn't really matter. Okay, so with this one, I honestly think this is going to go back down. Okay, so and we're going to leave that. Now, even though I didn't set an up alert, either way, it's still sitting in my alert, so I can still check the chart and I can adjust that as needed. Okay, if I need to set another alert for that one. All right, so that's going to do it, for me, in terms of today's video. So I hope you guys got something out of this. Keep in mind, if you guys want to go ahead and keep up with some of my other channels, you got the X channel. There's also the Crimson's Calls channel, and like I said, in those channels I do post, some other things. Sometimes I actually, depending on what we see in the video, I may go ahead and throw something out there to the X community too. So keep that in mind. But thanks again for you guys continuing to keep up with the series. I hope that I'm providing some value, for you, whether you are brand new to crypto or you're, seasoned in crypto. If you know somebody that may be interested and could benefit, from the series, definitely, this is how we grow, guys. This is how we grow. We grow together. So definitely go ahead and put somebody, else onto the channel and what's going on here with the Dexscreener series, so that we can continue to reach out to more people to help them, learn how to go ahead and do this and avoid just a lot of the scams and the pitfalls, that really, hurt a lot of people, in this space. So one of the things I always try to do is I always set out to develop my channels to help people, so that I can help them avoid a lot of the bad experiences that I had, when I was starting, so I'm all about teaching and learning and helping people grow, in this space. So make sure to share the channel and what we got going on here, as you continue to participate, and follow along in the series. Thanks so much for watching, and you guys enjoy the rest of your day.